January 1st. You're pumped. This is your year. You're going to lose 30 pounds, build a six-figure business, completely transform your life. You buy the gym membership, the business course, the productivity planner. By February, you've quit. Again. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Your big goals are killing your progress. That massive transformation you're chasing, it's the exact reason you keep failing. But there's a different approach. One that rebuilt an entire nation from the ashes of war. One that turned struggling companies into global empires. One that actually works because it goes against everything you've been taught about success. It's called Kaizen, and it's based on a principle so simple it sounds almost stupid. Improve by just 1% every day. That's it. No massive overhauls, no complete life transformations, no burning your old self to the ground and rising from the ashes. Just one tiny improvement. Every single day. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why this Japanese philosophy is more powerful than any motivational speech or massive goal you've ever set. You'll see the proof of how it transformed an entire country. You'll understand the psychology of why it works when everything else fails. And most importantly, you'll have a specific system you can start tomorrow morning that will compound into real, lasting change. But first, let me show you what happened when an entire nation decided to embrace this philosophy after losing everything. August 1945. Japan is devastated. 2 atomic bombs, cities in ruins, economy destroyed, manufacturing capability shattered. The nation that once dominated the Pacific is now on its knees, struggling to survive. Most countries would take decades to recover from this level of destruction. Japan did something different. Instead of trying to rebuild everything overnight, Japanese manufacturers adopted a radical philosophy. Kaizen, continuous improvement, small daily changes that anyone could implement. Factory workers weren't told to revolutionize production. They were told to find one small thing they could improve today. Just one. A slightly better way to organize tools. A minor adjustment to reduce waste. A tiny efficiency gain. 1% better. Every single day. Within 30 years, Japan went from rubble to the second largest economy in the world. Toyota became the most reliable car manufacturer on the planet. Sony, Honda, Panasonic, brands that dominated global markets. And it all came down to this philosophy. Small changes, compounded over time, create massive results. Look at Toyota specifically. In the 1950s, they were producing poorly made cars that barely functioned. American automakers laughed at them, but Toyota implemented Kaizen across every level of the company. Every employee, from the CEO to the assembly line worker, was empowered to suggest tiny improvements, and they made thousands of them. Not revolutionary changes, small tweaks to processes, minor quality improvements, slight efficiency gains. By the 1980s, Toyota was building the most reliable cars in the world. They didn't do it with one massive innovation. They did it with 10,000 tiny ones. Here's what makes this so powerful. Japan didn't have a choice. They couldn't afford massive investments or revolutionary technology. They had to rebuild with what they had, one small step at a time. And that limitation became their greatest advantage. But why does this work? Why do small changes succeed where big goals fail? The answer is hidden in how your brain actually functions. Your brain has a built-in alarm system called the amygdala. Its job is to protect you from threats and keep you safe. And here's the problem. Your amygdala sees big changes as threats. When you set a massive goal, lose 30 pounds, build a business, completely transform your life, your brain interprets that as dangerous. It activates resistance. It creates fear, procrastination, and self-sabotage. This is why you feel motivated on day 1, but can't get out of bed by day 14. But small changes, Your brain doesn't even notice them. A 1% improvement is too tiny to trigger that alarm system. You slip past your own psychological defenses, and once you start making those tiny improvements, something remarkable happens. Your brain begins to rewire itself. New neural pathways form. The behavior becomes automatic. What felt like effort becomes effortless. Here's what's crazy. The math actually works in your favor. If you improve by just 1% every single day for a year, you don't end up 1% better. You end up 37 times better. That's the power of compound growth. 1% seems like nothing, but that's everything. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. You don't go from the couch to a marathon. You do 1 push-up today. Tomorrow you do 2. Next week you add a short walk. In 6 months you're working out consistently without even thinking about it. In a year you're unrecognizable. You don't build a 6-figure business overnight. You spend an hour today learning 1 new skill. Tomorrow you reach out to 1 potential client. Next week you improve 1 small process. In a year, you've built something real while others are still waiting for the perfect moment. You don't fix anxiety with 1 meditation retreat. You take 3 deep breaths when stress hits today. Tomorrow, you add a 2-minute morning practice. Small, sustainable changes that actually stick instead of dramatic overhauls that collapse. The reason Kaizen works when everything else fails is simple. It removes the psychological resistance that kills every other approach. Your brain can't fight what it doesn't see as a threat. You're not trying to become a different person. You're just trying to be slightly better than you were yesterday. So the question isn't whether this works. Japan proved it works. Neuroscience explains why it works. The question is, how do you actually implement this starting tomorrow? Here's your Kaizen system. This is what you're going to do starting tomorrow morning. Step 1. Pick 1 area of your life. Just 1. Don't try to transform everything at once. Fitness, career, relationships, mental clarity. Choose the one that matters most right now. Step 2. Identify the smallest possible improvement you could make today. And I mean small. So small it feels almost embarrassing. 1 push-up, 5 minutes of focused work, 1 genuine compliment to your partner, 3 deep breaths when you feel stressed. The key is making it so easy that you can't fail. Step 3, do it every single day. No exceptions. No, I'll do extra tomorrow to make up for today. Consistency beats intensity. Always. Here's what happens next. Tomorrow you improve by 1% again. Maybe you do 2 push-ups instead of 1. Maybe you work for 6 minutes instead of 5. Tiny increase, barely noticeable. But in 30 days, you've made 30 improvements. In 90 days, that compounds into real, visible change. In a year, you're looking back at a completely different version of yourself. And you barely felt the effort along the way. The secret that Japan discovered and that most people never learn is this. Transformation doesn't come from dramatic moments. It comes from boring consistency compounded over time. While everyone else is waiting for motivation, burning out on massive goals, and starting over every Monday, you'll be making quiet progress that actually lasts. So here's your move. Pick your 1 area. Identify your 1% improvement for tomorrow. Drop it in the comments so you're committed. And if you're serious about building real lasting change with proven strategies like this, subscribe. Every week I break down timeless principles that actually work in the modern world. Stop chasing transformation. Start chasing 1%. That's how you actually win. Ready to prove small changes work?